Welcome back. As yesterday, Egypt commemorated of course, the birth date of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and there was a celebration that was held, of course, like every year, that was attended by the head of state, His Excellency President Abdel Latif Wahba, and he gave a very impressive speech in which he urged on following the footsteps and the sunnah of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, in his morals, in his ethics, in his all his principles, and in his values, everything about his characteristics. And he urged people not to follow rumors and to be aware of following the fake rumors, because this is very destructive to the phase that we're living, as we are trying to be reproductive and trying to build a country and effecting a renaissance and effecting a huge development in our country. And each one who's going to heed to the rumors and follow a different direction that is against the best interests of the country is going to be not loyal, is going to be regarded as a person who is not loyal to his religion or to his country. And he talked about so many important values that is followed after the footsteps of, peace be upon him, Prophet Muhammad. And we're very delighted to be having with us journalist and our political, of course, expert, Mr. Abdel Latif Wahba. Good morning, Mr. Abdel Latif.
Good morning.
How are you doing, sir?
Fine, sir. Thanks.
How do you assess the very impressive speech by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi in the commemoration of the birth date of Prophet Muhammad?
Yeah, as you know, that President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi in such occasions called for following the right instructions of Islamic Sharia, and also he wanted at the same time to modernize the Islamic speeches to the Egyptian people and to the Arab people, and also to the uses in Egypt. As you know, in sometimes we suffered from the misunderstanding of some principle that was depicted by some extremists and so on. And at the same time, as you know, that there is just now a conflict not only between, as you know, that between some Islamic sects like Sunnah and the Shia and so on. But as you know that President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, according to his speech in the anniversary and the birthday of Prophet Muhammad, directed all the Egyptian institutions to follow the moderate principle of Islam. And also, as you know, that we have the most important religious entity in the world, in Azhar al-Sharif. So I think his call for the Egyptian people, or his speech for the Egyptian people, is conveying many instructions and also directions to copy with the moderate and the modern civilizations at the same time. As you know, not I remember exactly when Al-Azhar and some religious institutions in Egypt hosted the dialogue between the different civilizations or of contemporary civilizations in Egypt. This is, of course, to call the world to follow and to apply with the moderate Islam.
Right. Also, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi talked about a very important element, which is the criticism, the pointless criticism, the no-sense criticism, just for the sake of criticism, the destructive criticism that is being waged by weak souls and weak characters, people who have very bad interests. That dissect society, that destruct the course of development in the country. Probably people do not notice that, and he warned them about taking heed to stand up to this destructive kind of criticism.
As you know, besides what we said about President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi directions to the government, as you know that during the last years, for example, Egypt tried in many other sectors, especially in education, to cultivate the moderate thinking for Islam, and also tried from the religious or clergy people to give the main values of Islam, not only to the people but also to the students, even in primary, secondary school, and so on. And at the same time, there is now an equality between all the Egyptians, and at the same time, you know that we have the freedom, as President Fattah al-Sisi mentioned before, the freedom of thinking. But what kind of thinking? You have the freedom not to hurt the others, not to hate the others. We have to be in a good relations with others, and so on. So we have to accept ourselves first before going to the others. This is the main directions and the main values of Islam at the same time. And in many religious occasions, as you know, that you notice that President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi called for the youths, for the media at the same time, and also for the clergymen and religious institutions to depict the main values of Islam in the Egyptian society, especially in education. So why education? Because this is the first gathering for the children, for the students, for the youths in schools, in secondary schools, in prep school, in primary schools, and also in universities and so on. Egypt is characterized by the modern and the moderate Islam in the Arab world. We have the freedom of thinking. We have the freedom in behavior. We have the freedom to speak. So we have to respect this freedom too.
Right. He also talked about the importance of unity and solidarity, following also the footsteps of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, because one of the main elements of strengthening Islam or the religion and its early beginnings was the solidarity and the unity and the faithfulness of al-Sahaba and the surroundings or the people surrounding Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Talk to us about the importance of unity also, according to President Sisi's speech in the Amin celebration.
You know that when President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi spoke about unity, he spoke about unity during the early days. For example, the early stages of Islam. But now his call for unity is the most important. As you know that if we suffered or if we suffered from any negative phenomena in the Egyptian society, it doesn't differentiate between the Muslim and the Christians, but all will suffer from the misunderstanding, misbehaviors, from any other conflict in thinking and so on. So unity is the main element for the Egyptian people to be immunized against the misunderstanding and the misthinking and so on.
Right. There is a definite role for Al-Azhar institution in the sense of unifying all people under one umbrella and creating a foundation of solidarity between all Egyptians, and especially between the Muslims worldwide. Since we know that Al-Azhar institution is a mecca of science and education and culture for the Muslim world. So where do we find the role of Al-Azhar in that particular element?
You know that Al-Azhar, one of the religious institutions, not only in Egypt but all over the Islamic world, that has a great famousness on all the Arab world. As you know that we have many, what can we say about many uses from the Islamic world, from the African states, from the Asian states and so on, who are studying in Al-Azhar here in Egypt. Someone may think that these or those students are studying in universities only. No, but we have also for them a religious institutions starting from learning Arabic language and then matriculating to the main educations of prep and primary school and secondary school and so on. So Al-Azhar plays an important role in Egypt and in Islamic world at the same time. He has a moderate thinking, a moderate education in schools and universities at the same time. And during the last years, as you know, that they started, Al-Azhar officials, they started to give importance also for the other sectors, for the other some kind of educations, especially in language, especially in science and so on. And at the same time, they modernized their criteria at the same time. This, of course, will play another part in what we said about unity of the Muslim world.
Right. President Abdel Fattah Sisi talked also about the talent of Prophet Muhammad and his persistence and his strength in facing difficulties and obstacles and challenges. And we all know in history and in history of Islam how Prophet Muhammad at his early beginnings was faced by challenges, by difficulties, by dangers, opposing him and the call for Islam, and he faced them with courage and with persistence and with faith in God. He insisted, President Abdel Fattah Sisi insisted on recalling this very important value by the Prophet, peace be upon him, and taking that as an example for Egyptians to face all the threats, to face all the difficulties, to face all the challenges, and still have faith in God and try to overcome them?
I think he's recalling, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi recalling for the situations of early days of Islam during Prophet Muhammad, and what he faced in his call for the Muslims or for the people of Quraysh, for example, to enter Islam, and for the people to join him, and what he faced from during his life, even not only in thinking only, but also in the war involved to face the other sectors or the other people in his community. This, of course, I think President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi inserted on it. Why? Because he wanted to say to the Egyptians, you have to fight for for your country. You have to fight for the unity of the Egyptian people. You have to fight for the prosperity of Egypt. At the same time, see how Prophet Muhammad and his followers faced many arms during the early days of Islam. But now you have all the capabilities to face any challenge. In trying from other people, as you know, that or the extremists, the fundamentalists, and so on, to penetrate their misleading or their misunderstanding and their thinking upon the Egyptian people. So you have the elements, and you have the capabilities to face such bad behaviors.
Right. He also, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, talked about the dangers and the bad side effects of rumors, faking rumors, and rumors usually threatens the national security. It dissects society. It destructs the course of development, and wage very destructive ideas, very destructive ideologies among people, which are fake and not true. So talk to us about the dangers of rumors from the perspective that President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi have talked about in the celebration.
Let us say first that President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi warned the Egyptians not only during these occasions, but in many other occasions, warned the Egyptians against the rumors, for example, that penetrated from outside or even from inside in Egypt, because as you know that rumors can destroy the mind, can destroy the society, and they can destroy the state institutions, for example. But in his calling for the Egyptian people to be very careful against hearing or reading or listening to the rumors, for example, especially now we are in as the scientists describe the world, it is a small village. So you can get any misleading information or rumors in 1 second, and you can distributed in another second. For example, so you have to be careful against such phenomena. And as you know that the Egyptian cabinet, for example, formed a committee to take any or to tackle any rumors and to send the right answer for it for the Egyptians through media, through TVs, through social or what can we say through the media.
Right. Of course, on that note, Mr. Abdel Latif Wahba, our journalist and political analyst, would like to thank you so much talking to The Breakfast Show. You have a beautiful day, and we're going to go to a short break after the short